I want your eyes almost angry. Angry. Give me angry eyes. Because, yes, yes, more. 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 This is theater. Yes, more. Great. This is great. Hold that. Lovely. Photography for me, it's more a means to an end. In other words, is an intellectual engagement that allows me to perhaps preserve a little bit of a bygone culture, of an oral tradition, but also of emotions, passing emotions. I'm an Italian photographer who's been based in New York for nearly 25 years now. I live on the very northern part of Manhattan, near the Cloisters, and I have a small portraiture studio there where I mostly shoot large format portraits. I don't have any stories like, oh, my father gave me a brownie and I started, no. In fact, my father didn't want me to touch his camera when I was a kid. So, eventually a friend of the family, I think, gave me a Polaroid and I started shooting with that. But I don't have any particularly poetic stories about how I started. Fixing your hair, which is kind of fun if I try and show you because it's been a passion all my life since I was a kid. 1, 2, 3. Great. One of the things that horrifies me the most in this modern age is the cruel and relentless advancement of technocracy. New technology is continually introduced with the sole scope of reducing the human interaction with the machine. Those thousands of selfies people shoot on their cell phones today are picture files that probably 10 years from now won't be even readable. Okay, let's have a look at what we got. The process behind this kind of photography requires you to dig into the best part of your being human. It's nice, right?
Yes, it's really nice.
As an artisan, as a lover, as a fine practitioner of something you love. And these are the very last films available. They discontinued it in Japan about a year ago, and now you can't buy these anymore. I'm gonna miss them greatly because I think they're great colors, great 1950s, 60s colors. Obviously, working with these cameras, there's another fascinating aspect. You can build up your own systems. You can interact with the machine in ways that the newest technology doesn't allow you to. You see, all my negatives. This place is full of negatives. And what I like really is the fact that these things, they don't require any electricity to exist. You know what I mean? Like a negative like this, I put under a glass, I put a piece of paper on top, photographic paper, I go on the roof, expose it to the sun for a few seconds, and I make a print. In other words, I don't need JPEGs, TIFFs, PNGs, computers, software. It's just a very organic way of doing it, I suppose. Look, I never went to photography school. I never had that privilege. I would have loved to. I had the privilege of starting my career at a time when there were still mentors around. So I assisted for many years a marvelous man, a British man, who was a great photographer and a senior cameraman at 60 Minutes and CBS News. And basically, I learned everything I know about lighting, about shooting, about the editorial sense behind the picture, which is certainly sometimes even more important than the lighting, because I learned from him by doing it, by working. In retrospect, I would have loved to have been able to go to a school and, you know, have all this equipment at my disposal. But at the same time, you know, I was happy to be employed in a proper job since a very early age, and slowly making mistakes, you know, being told off sometimes because you've done the wrong thing, you messed up something, etc. Well, that was the way I was able to learn photography and cinematography in my life, and I'm grateful for it. I tell something to my students, that no matter how much you've applied yourself technically to photography, to you know, to all there is behind taking a picture with a camera, you know, a good picture is a gift. It's not going to happen because you're a good photographer. Being a good photographer helps. But that good picture is a gift where the universe is basically channeling something through you and your camera and your subjects, and you get the picture. But it's not because of your ego. It's not because of the interviews or the Emmys or the social and corporate and financial validation you've obtained in your life. You'd be surprised, but not many people seem to realize that. That's why a good friend of mine once said to me after I took her portrait, but Giovanni, I've never seen anything like this. Photography is your meditation. She was right.